EWTN News Nightly's exclusive Catholic in America poll by McLaughlin and Associates focuses on issues that are motivating Catholic voters. We surveyed 1,000 people who self-identified as Catholics from all regions of the country. 67% of them are moderate or conservative/traditional Catholics. Tonight, we delve into views on abortion and Planned Parenthood. 71% of respondents said they were concerned about abortion. 82% of those who attend weekly Mass said they were concerned. We wanted to know if respondents considered themselves to be pro-life or pro-choice. 49% said pro-life, 42% said pro-choice. But among those who say they attend Mass weekly, 68% said they were pro-life, and 26% said pro-choice. We were also curious about Planned Parenthood, particularly given the increased efforts by pro-life groups to defund Planned Parenthood. We asked respondents if they had a favorable or unfavorable opinion of the group. 62% of surveyed Catholics have a favorable opinion of Planned Parenthood, 26% unfavorable. But among those who say they attend Mass weekly, 58% have a favorable opinion and 36% unfavorable. With just 20 days until the election, Marjorie Dannenfelser, president of the Susan B. Anthony List, joins us. We're going to talk about how important the midterms are to the pro-life movement. Let's start with the poll numbers about Planned Parenthood that we have. 58% of Catholics who attend weekly Mass have a favorable opinion. Why do you think so many Catholics, and this is conservative, traditional, moderate, and liberal, have a positive view of the largest abortion provider in the U.S.?
Yeah, it's very easy to answer that question. It's that Planned Parenthood has the best PR machine in the nation, better than any that I've ever seen. It's completely in their interest for Americans to not notice that they are the #1 provider of abortions in the nation. It's in their interest for the nation to not see the fact that all other services have gone down at Planned Parenthood while abortions have stayed about the same. You notice that their new president is always wearing a white coat as if she is the doctor for all women. Well, we know what goes on there is really not that. And that we, you and I, and everyone watching, pays $1 million a day to keep that operation going.
There are 26% of weekly church-going Catholics who say they're pro-choice.
Right.
What do you say to them?
I say perhaps they're like me when I wasn't pro-life and that they haven't allowed themselves to see the horror. It's the only answer to a question like that. There's a lot that goes on internally when we've embraced that issue. There might be people we know, maybe ourselves have experienced this. There's a lot vested in not assenting to this beautiful teaching. And I think that we should take, actually, that as a challenge to make sure that we're always speaking with a beautiful and loud voice on the issue.
Jeannie Mancini, president of March for Life, recently said that using religious language when talking about the pro-life position might not be an effective tool. She said, quote, using the language of philosophy and natural law is a lot more effective. Do you agree? Do you think that's what's needed?
Well, I think Jeannie is right. And if you're talking to somebody where that's where their center is, the key is to know your audience when you're speaking on this issue, know who you're talking to, and know where their center is. How do they make decisions? How do they see the world? Do they think this is primarily a religious issue, or primarily a science issue about women's rights, or what? That's why asking questions and listening is so vital on this issue.
On a scale of 1 to 5, we asked how concerned about global issues people were. Human trafficking, #1. Poverty, immigration, climate, religious freedom, and then abortion.
Yeah.
Is there a way to reverse the priorities, especially during the midterms? How are you doing that?
Well, I think stories are everything. Telling the story of somebody that's expecting a 20-week-old baby and they're offered an abortion, or they actually had an abortion at that stage. I really believe that telling those stories, moving up into this election, making sure that the country knows what's at stake, that we have abortion up until the end, no limits, and this election could change all that.
Out of all of the people who are running, the pro-life candidates, what is the projection for them?
very good. If the election were held today, I think we would pick up a lot of, we'd have a net positive in the Senate. We'd be doing extremely well. I think your previous question has everything to do with that. The more the life issue is elevated to the top, the better off we do, because the contrast between those candidates is immense.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Marjorie Dannenfelser, president of the Susan B. Anthony List.